Above the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing?
I was born in 1925 in Boston, Massachusetts. It was a very nice childhood. My parents were both older. They were very happy to have us. Both parents were very active in the community. We had this nice home, and we had another home on Cape Cod. We spent every summer there on the Cape, and in the winter we were in a very good school in Cambridge, the Shady Hill School, where I later taught. And it had a wonderful classical tradition and very good cultural aspects. It was a very important part of my life. It was interesting when we went to the next school, a lot of us went from Shady Hill to Concord. And one of the friends there said, "You all knew how to think." I went to Radcliffe College. It was a very good experience. I majored in government. I was always interested in history. I was very anxious to see what happened after the war.
She left after her college education and at Radcliffe, a few years as a teacher, traveled to Europe following the war to assist in the effort at rebuilding, and solidified her commitment to peace activism. And then in her late 20s, she started driving across the country, exploring America and looking for a place where she could make an impact, and looking for a city where she might make a life. And she came to Seattle, and she just had a sense of recognition. This was a city that was young, there was things to do, there was ways to make it better, and she saw herself as having a role here.
I just felt an openness. When I came out here, it just seemed you could get into anything. And so that's what I did. You know, I spread myself a little thin.
Shortly after she settled here, she met my father, and they married very quickly, fell in love very quickly.
He was running for Congress. He was just about to announce, which of course interested me greatly. And there was a picture here the year we moved into this house. This was our Christmas card that year. It's Tim and me with baby Dorothy, and Ashley and Scott and Jill.
She became a stepmother to my 3 siblings, and I was born shortly after that, and my brother was born shortly after that, and my younger sister Margaret a few years later. She was a stay-at-home mom in the early years. She created a day camp, mixed race, day camp, sliding scale. Then when I was around 10, she became very involved outside the home and really launched her career fully as a community leader. And she just fanned out into all aspects of community. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people she's touched. It's more the people than anything else. I've always thought that when Mother dies, that we'd have to rent some big stadium to accommodate all the people who've been affected by her.
I wish I didn't need as much sleep, because I waste so many hours sleeping. I don't understand boredom, you know. I don't see how people can be bored, because there's just so much living to do. So, yeah.
She gave me my family, just having us every week. The ability to have this place to come be in this warmth that Kay had created for all of us, holding the family together, it's an amazing thing. I think Kay had incredible grace in how she did almost everything. The other part is being a citizen, a real public citizen. Well, I just imagine her sitting through meeting after meeting after meeting, and what that takes. You know, year after year, and doing that in the context of 6 kids running around and figuring out how to navigate that and be a true public citizen. What a hard thing for a young woman to walk into, and I think she did it really quite well.
Like my mother, she was an amazing networker and communicator. She could anyone she met, she would talk to and kind of welcome them into her life. In my 20s, as I wandered around the United States hitchhiking, I would arrive unannounced at Kay's door. I was welcomed, fed, and housed, and incorporated into the activities of 1125 Harvard Avenue, as if she had been expecting me.
Kay was very inclusive of every person. Everybody was important. I have learned from Kay to listen to the people that I'm with, pay attention, be a very appreciative of when someone does something for you, and always treat them and receive them with a kind word. And if you don't have anything nice to say, you're better off not to say anything.
What I tell you about Kay might surprise you. She was somewhat of a party girl. And we had a friend who had a place not only in Cabo San Lucas, but also in Vegas, Las Vegas. And Kay would love to, I found that she loved to gamble. Just the vision of her there, surrounded by high-powered poker players, sitting there in her regal beauty, was a sight to behold. And, she loved it until she started to lose. And then, boy, did she ever get out of there and join me in the nickel slots.
I felt that it was like an oasis here. My time with Kay was this very treasured time. Isn't there a famous book called Tuesdays with Maury? I always thought I might write a book about breakfast with Kay along the same lines. That's how I felt in our regular meetings, and it was a very special time. And I think magic happened at that table. We all know about the incredible impact. I mean, like a legacy that she has had on the world, and in this, too many to mention. And the amazing thing about her was also that same massive impact on individual people. I can say I experienced that in my heart. She has an outsized impact in my life. As I am not exaggerating when I say she's one of the best human beings I've ever met. And I'm going to miss her, like we all are.
She made some clear choices about what she cared about. A lot of choices that she carried, and then she just kept walking with them, and kept walking with them, and kept walking with them.
The thing that most impresses me, being a little older now, is how she was able to introduce a whole host of very serious political issues to me when I was really young. She was able to explain those to me as a 10-year-old by having me sit at her little breakfast nook and read the newspaper with her. And then afterwards, we'd just discuss everything that we'd read. And her words on the civil rights kind of integration of schools in Seattle was one of my first introductions to race. And it wound up kind of being the thing I want to do with my life, is work on civil rights issues. And Grandma Kay was the first person to really tell me about how love can transform a society.
Especially in the Urban League and civil rights at the time, there are those people who moved to the podium and rally the masses. She rallied the masses in a different way. A quiet presence, a strong commitment, and a willingness to listen and then act. There was a voice of reason, a sense of fairness, a sense of equality that was real, that was solid, and that was ever present in whatever the issue was around education or the way we wanted to manage education. She was there, and that voice really helped a lot.
It's really hard to convey how much Kay meant to me, and I miss her terribly already.
Kay is the most self-emotionally regulated person. She endured a lot in her personal life, and you would never know it. Such poise, such grace, such beauty, unconditional love, and the most nurturing person. Anyone that knew her would say, I bet, that they knew.
But I know that it does matter to me to get to witness her in my own life and to get to carry her. So I guess I look forward to seeing her. You know, I look forward to noticing her in the world, and you know that and maybe pointing out to someone and saying, "No, that's my grandmother."
Some enchanted evening, someone may be laughing. You may hear her laughing across a crowded room, and night after night, as strange as it seems, the sound of her laughter will sing in your dreams.
Probably many of you know that Kay and Stim contributed this gorgeous big block of property plus their house to the Seattle Park Department to become a public park once they died. Ashley, Kay's stepdaughter, was familiar with PlantAmnesty, and they got volunteers to come and landscape. Margaret, my goddaughter and Kay's daughter, got the University of Washington School of Architecture class to build benches to honor members of the family and a few close friends. Margaret hosted a delightful gathering in the yard when the benches were installed. It's hard to believe that Kay is no longer physically with us, but her spirit certainly is, and what a legacy she's left.
Once you have found her, never let her go.
My life flows on in endless timeless song above earth's lamentations. I hear the real though far off sound that hails a new creation. Above the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing?